KShakir, and she's given us some information relative to the psychological impact of slavery on African Americans. And she has already talked about its impact upon females as well as upon men. And now we would like to have you to say something about some of the issues that face our young people today, because I think that if there is a problem in terms of trying to deal with the family and et cetera, I think it has to start at least with them.
Absolutely.
Very good. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Our children in the educational system now are failing. They're not even reading sufficiently at the 3rd grade, and no one's catching this. They're being just promoted on and given a diploma, and when they reach college, they can't even get in because the ACT scores are so low that they cannot be admitted. And to me, it's an injustice because someone has to catch this at the age of 7 and 6. And a lot of it the problem is at home as well. As parents, we have to get engaged with our children's reading and engaged in their lives at school. We can't no longer leave it up to the teachers. A lot of our children today feel like that I know they feel like we have left them because they're swimming in this world that's moving so fast and they can't keep up. In the public schools, and especially in Nashville, there's a level that's called a resource level that a lot of African American men are put into. And they're put in this category because they cannot learn in a traditional way. Their reading is not proficient. They cannot sit still in a chair long enough. So they attach labels like ADHD on our children, and then they put them on drugs, and then they put them in a category where they get more funding to have these children in resource classes, the particular school does. And we as parents just sit back and let this happen to our children. We don't look in long-term effect of the education that our children have. We're not concerned with the teenage pregnancy. It shocked me to find out that 50% of African American female teenagers will have 1 child by the time they get 20. That's a huge number.
That's a real number.
Yes. And so we're talking about essentially babies having babies. And then of course we know we have the male problem, the father's not there. And I would like to see, as a remedy for this, a long time ago during the civil rights era, and any time we really had to dig deep and get help, we searched for that help through our religious organizations, whether it be the mosque, whether it be the masjid, whether it be the church. And these centers of our social community have to stand up. They have to make this happen. And how do they make it happen? They bring in programs to design the women how to be chaste and how to take pride in themselves as African American women. And they bring the program to the men children to raise them and have the men engage with men. Because we do have very good men in our community. It's just so far and few between. It's unheard of now to find a black man who hasn't been in prison or who hasn't been in jail. Our juvenile system has almost tripled in the last decade with African American children. And our educational system, all of our schools now have police officers in them. That wasn't going on when I was a child. So what's happening? There's a serious breakdown in America, but America keeps moving forward. We've got to catch up as a community. I know that it starts at a very early age. That's one of the reasons I opened up a school, because I'm going to try to just grab a few of them as I can and just
as many as you can.
Yeah, and just try to implement some of these programs into their heads when they're young. But the basis of it comes from the home. We've got mothers that's on crack, children who haven't seen their mother in days. They get themselves ready for school. I had one little girl tell me about a foster home that she's been in for the last 20 years, and she goes to see her mother regularly. Mother has 2 other kids there. So the dynamics of the family life is completely broken down, and we have to rebuild that. The civil rights came in. There was a progress. It was a beautiful thing. But we have never dealt with the psychological effects that we had after generation of slavery.
300 years of slavery, right? Yes, ma'am.
That's an implanted DNA. That's DNA that's implanted in your brain. Our children are self-medicating themselves right now. Nicotine, alcohol, drugs. A lot of times on the plantation, we used to, as slaves, sit in our little bitty huts or in our slave houses, which it was several in one particular area, like a barn. And we would look up at the big house and just see all these beautiful things and see the beautiful clothes that they wore.